So here we are at Barry Island Books for volume 11 of the Bayside Book Chats. We are set up outside. It's the last days until we can open up for real on June 15th, when we're going to invite you in our shop. Until then, this has been our display during the day, just to show off a few of the things that we do. It's a lot of the things that I've talked about before, a lot of nautical and nature books, a lot of kids, children's nautical books, and of late we've talked about our nice beach tag boxes. We have more Stone Harbor. We sold out of those, but we have more of those coming in days. And then I'm going to show you how we get into this store. We got to get past this, where we got our bangles and we've got our Ellen Hildebrand, and this is how we've been doing it for the last 2 weeks. Me or Marty or one of our girls meet you at the doorstep, and you let us know what you need, and we try to serve it for you. But June 15th, you can walk right in, and when you come into this store, we always have posted on our door a little bit about ourselves, and our prices and our hours are always on our door. And for those of you that aren't familiar with our store, this sign here is out of the 2019 ad. We have the 2020 ad coming out this week, and it mentions a little bit about ourselves and the categories that we carry. And my favorite thing of last year's ad was a quote by Dr. Seuss that says, "The more that you read, the more things that you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go." So starting June 15th, you can walk right on in. And for those of you who have not been in this store before, we've got two halves. We've got a fiction side, and we have non-fiction behind me. And the fiction side starts off with mysteries and suspense and heads back to our beach read section. In this aisle, we have a lot of your New York Times bestsellers, your Oprah and Reese Witherspoon book club, modern contemporary fiction. They start A to Z. Here, we're very proud of our science fiction and fantasy section, does very well. And then over here, I kind of call it our heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit section. It could be anything from home economics to self-thought to motivation. And up here we have cooking and decorating, anything having to do with you and yourself being inside your home. But for now, we are going to go over to the corner and have our book chat. So this is the part where we talk about presidential leadership. The Bayside Book Chat is modeled after FDR's fireside chats. And just like last week, with the current news cycle, I'm just going to read you quotes from people regarding some things that will give some insight to today's happenings. FDR, "Human kindness has never weakened the stamina or softened the fiber of a free people. A nation does not have to be cruel to be tough." Martin Luther King, "Make a career of humanity. Commit yourself to the struggle for equal rights." Abraham Lincoln, "Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves." The Golden Rule from the Bible, two different biblical quotes. Matthew 7:12 and Luke 3:1, pretty much similar. Luke 6:3:1, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you," the Golden Rule. Mahatma Gandhi, "The greatness of humanity is not in being human, but in being humane." And another one from Mahatma Gandhi, "You must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the entire ocean does not become dirty." As in previous segments, we've talked about how books in this store can relate to current events, and we let, just like I let the quotes speak for themselves in the last segment, we let books speak for themselves, and it's for you to come in, purchase or read these books and learn from them what the author may have been trying to get across. So I have not read many of these, but I've been reading the backs, and they are very insightful, and I will just show them to you one at a time. A famous play for the 1950s, A Raisin in the Sun. I remember as a child, my dad is, as previously mentioned, a history teacher, so we watched this whole mini-series. It was very dramatic and inventive for its time. Alex Haley's Roots. An American classic, Uncle Tom's Cabin. A female author wrote a insightful novel on American slavery. The origins of American slavery, going back to British colonial times. A book that I've sold a few copies in this store, which is a black man's tribute to his white mother. A very popular book, The Color of Water. We have a couple books in here that I have not read, but these are the types of things we have in here on different subject matters. This is called Passing Strange, A Gilded Age Tale of Love and Deception Across the Color Lines. And this is a reference book to struggle for black equality. Barack Obama, Dreams from My Father, A Story of Race and Inheritance. Well-known author Michael Eric Dyson, What Truth Sounds Like, RFK and Our Unfinished Conversation About Race in America. To Kill a Mockingbird. One of my heroes, John Lewis. And what should be everybody's hero, Martin Luther King Jr. So from 10,000 feet, I pulled out a few words that I've been thinking about during the last week in no particular order. In these events, I think we all need to find some respect, some humility, some humaneness, some decency, and I've had some experiences that made me think about these, and some of it has to do with working in retail and having a few people come into the stores who, this isn't my only job, where they don't want to wear the mask, and of course they want to share with you the reason why they think they're exempt from it. I've had now up to 5 people use coverage from what they are calling the Defense of the American Disabilities Act. They're misconstruing it, just like the Bible or the Constitution. You can take excerpts or words from it and try to make it apply to you. In short, an Illinois Republican congressman hijacked the ADA Act, and a New Jersey radio disc jockey from a more northern radio station that I won't mention, put it both on his blog and on his show, and what he said was that you should be able to go into a store, claim the American Disabilities Act, and then tell the manager of the store that you're not allowed to ask them about the disability and that they're exempt. The only problem with that is that that does not apply when there's been a health crisis declared by the current state that you're in. And I've had 5 people, use that on me, and we've had discussions about it. And basically, it brings me back to the words that I said. It's not very respectful to the people who actually have the disability that these people are pretending that they have. Somebody who actually would have the disability, I'm sure, would approach me and mention it instead of me having to bring it to them. And I don't find that very humble. I don't find it very humane, and I don't find it very decent. And another word that comes to my mind for people who do that is I find it very arrogant. So in researching the quotes that we mentioned and pulling the books from the store and looking at the covers and learning and looking up and learning a little bit about the authors and what the books were about, some words came to my mind. The word respect, humility, humaneness, and decency, and I hope we all can find that as we discuss these issues, and that these events bring out better judgments from us and are better angels. So we're back to the PBS Great American Read series. We are up to number 71, which was the Hatchet series by Gary Paulson. 72, The Invisible Man. They made a TV show out of that in the 70s. I think I remember seeing it as a kid, by Ralph Ellison. The Twilight Saga series. I got the full series by Stephanie Meyer. We have a lot of books by Armistead Maupin, Tales of the City author. We have next at number 75, Gulliver's Travels. Got it both in a modern library hardback and in a paperback. A very popular book, and has become quite collectible in the first printing, is Ready Player One, a story involving computers and computer games. And at number 77 was the Left Behind series. Number 78 is Gone Girl. Number 79 was Dean Koontz's, which I have a lot of Dean Koontz books, including Watchers, which is the title of number 79, Dean Koontz, The Watchers. And number 80 is The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. Following up on trivia, and we left off with some Memorial Day questions from our Memorial Day edition. And question number 1 was, what was the original name of Memorial Day? That was called Decoration Day, and it evolved out of the Civil War. Who started that? Was a General John Logan. And what was the original date that Memorial Day was before we incorporated it into weekend holidays? That was May 30th. What year did it become a federal holiday? That was 1971. If you were watching a parade and it was a Memorial Day, what flower would they be wearing? That is a red poppy. And the famous graveyard in Virginia is called Arlington. And when you see the president go to the graveyard, all U.S. presidents stop and give remembrance to the tomb of the unknown soldier. And this week's questions are going to be, who is referred to as the Prince of Peace? Question number 2 is, when or what year was the peace sign created? This is a hard one. Who created it? In part C of question 2 would be, why and what design was the peace sign created for? Question 3, what bird symbolizes peace? And the part B of that is, what is carried in the beak of that bird? Number 4, who sang Peace Train? Number 5, and this is another very hard one, but when we give the answers, it'll just give a little insight and you'll be happy that I asked it. Who is considered the first pacifist? An easy one. Who sang the pop classic, most famously, Respect? So who was the singer that most famously sang the song Respect? But question number 7 is, who wrote it? And that's the end of the trivia. Cheers to you all. We started this online Bayside Book Chat because we weren't able to have wine night in person. If you've heard us talking before, in the summer on Wednesday night, including tonight, come in and see us and share a glass of wine, tell a story, talk about books, talk about life. And when we got shut down, I was very disappointed. It's a big part of all of our lives here at Barry Island Books and Art, and I missed it dearly and missed some of my friends that come in and talk to me. And we decided to go online. So I hope you've enjoyed the last 11 episodes of Barrier Island Books and Arts version of the Bayside Book Chat based upon FDR's Fireside Chats. And as the summer comes on, you are now allowed in the store, and I hope next Wednesday to see you all in here for a glass of wine with me.